Is there going to be a recession in 2022? What if you could predict with near certainty whether there's going to be a recession or not? What would you do with that information? In this video, I'm going to show you why many people think there's going to be a huge recession and it's coming soon. So make sure you watch the whole video and don't miss out. I've been investing in property, global equity markets and online for over 20 years. This is not my first rodeo. I'm going to explain to you why with near certainty you can predict that a recession actually is coming up. More importantly, I'm going to give you the silver bullet for what you can do to protect yourself with all of these financial headwinds that are coming your way. Okay, so let's take a step back here. What actually is a recession? So a recession, technically defined, is when a country goes into negative growth or contraction for 2 consecutive quarters. Now for the multi-billion-dollar question. Is there going to be a recession, and how can we tell whether there's going to be a recession or not?
Hi, my name is Andre Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the possible recession.
Now, you may have heard of our friend Andre. He's pretty big in YouTube. I think he really does know what he's talking about.
Now check this out. You see these little dark gray columns right here in between the white? Those are not good. Those are periods of recessions. Now check this out. Going back as far as 1948, when inflation hit 9%, we got a correction. Then in 1951, we tried to bring it down, but we got a recession. And we have a few between here that we get a few recessions that don't hit 5% inflation readings, but different reasons. And then in 1970, we got 6% inflation, followed by a recession. In 1974, we got 12% inflation, followed by a recession. 1980, a massive 14% inflation reading. We had a brief recession. We tried to bring that one down, but we got another recession. In 1980, same story. 2008, same story. Now we are at 6.74%, and it seems like the writing's on the wall because we need to bring down inflation. But based on what everything the past is showing us, it seems like another recession is coming.
I've got a favor to ask you. Smash that like button really hard, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. We've had a pretty good time of it globally for the last 14-15 years. The last big crunch was the credit crunch, 2007-2008. That's when the global stock market, global markets started to implode. Since that time, the global markets have been pretty stable. Global economies have been pretty stable until the events of the last couple of years. Well, that's now made ripples in the global economy where governments have started to make interventions, and these now have a knock-on effect. Now, the next question is, well, how do stocks perform in a recession? Now, recently you've seen Facebook took a huge plunge, losing about 25% of its value in a matter of days. But I think that's unrelated because Facebook had some news come out, which was that for the first time ever, their average users that were connected daily actually went down. It's never happened in Facebook's history. I think it's a sea change that Facebook will no longer be dominant. But that's a different question. The question about what happens to stocks in the time of recession, well, the answer is it depends. Because again, if you look at the events of the last few years, the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, many other industries have been on their knees, but the stock market has been going through the roof. Why is that? Well, because the major governments have been printing money. So you can actually have it that there can be a major worldwide recession, but the stock markets can still be climbing. So it's not such a simple answer. Now, although in the last couple of years, a lot of industries have suffered, there's been a few industries that have absolutely flourished. And those have been the ones that are focused online. So Amazon, things like YouTube, Google, these kind of online spaces, people have been making lots and lots of money, and they've been expanding rapidly. And this is a clue as to what you can do to protect yourself from the upcoming storm. So the perfect storm, now these are the main problems that I think are existing in the global markets right now. First of all, it's inflation. Inflation is the ultimate killer. You have $100 in your bank account, you could buy 100 potatoes with $100, and if inflation 10%, in 1 year's time, you could only buy 90 potatoes with your $100 because prices have gone up by 10%, but your money hasn't. That's where inflation now starts to reduce the value of your money. This then means that other prices spiral out of control because people demand higher wages, and other costs also go up. That's what inflation does. And really in the last 30 years, inflation globally in most of the developed countries has been pretty low. It's been low single digits, like 1, 2%, 2 or 3% maximum. Most places have had very calm inflation. The second part of the perfect storm is what I call the business cycle. Prior to the last 10, 15 years, pretty much every 8 to 10 years, there was some kind of financial event. The credit crunch in 2007, 2008. Before that, we had the dot-com boom back in around about the millennium. And again, when you go back every around 8 to 10 years, we've not had a big reset for, again, a good 15 odd years. So we're due a reset. Inflation, each time it's been over 5%, there's been a huge contraction, there's been a recession. Now, because inflation is high, the global banks need to raise interest rates to start to put the coolers on globally expanding markets. And that's going to have a knock-on effect where everybody's borrowing is going to become more expensive. Now, again, it's quite complicated, the international debt market, but the US has something like 30 trillion in debt. And if interest rates go up, their cost of debt also goes up. So it's not a simple equation, but again, it adds to the mix. The next one is crude oil. Crude oil has just gone past $90 a barrel, which is historically very, very high. In the UK, what we call petrol, or in the US you call gasoline, prices have gone at record levels. So it costs around about £1.50 per litre in the United Kingdom, and the price per gallon is on the screen somewhere. Crazy, crazy prices, which means that people now will struggle to afford to be able to travel around, so less travel. A lot less people are working from the office now, but still these costs do add up. The next one is global energy prices. Now, global energy prices are going through the roof, especially in the United Kingdom. People are going to have their utility bills, their natural gas bills, double, almost triple in some cases. So what's the solution? Well, it's pretty certain that things are going to get more difficult. I think we're in for choppy waters to come. And what you need to do is look at your top line and not your expenses. We can only cut our expenses by so much. So if our gas and electricity bills are going to double or triple, what can you do? You can't really turn the heating off for that long. What you can do is focus on the top line, which is your income, and increase your income. So how can you do that? Well, this is online. And I've spoken before about Amazon, YouTube, Google. The content creator economy is where you can make a difference and earn yourself. You can make money by creating content on YouTube channels. You can do this with your face on your camera like I'm doing here, or even without your face on a camera, and create what's called faceless YouTube channels. And there's so many other things that you can do online just to earn extra money. At a completely different level, if you look at something like Fiverr, where you have something called the gig economy. I did a test recently where I set up a brand new account, and within a short period of time I earned about $500 as a creator. And this gives you an additional income that's really going to help you out. So all the way from having a huge training business to just creating a little bit of extra income, you can earn additional income online. I want you to take a look at these screenshots from one of the Facebook groups I'm a member of, where real people are making money online. This is what's going to help shield you from the effects of the financial storm that's coming. This is real, guys, and if you want to protect yourself, this is what you want to be doing. Put yourself in the growth sector. That's online. So as always, I wish you well, stay safe, and I will catch you soon.